Hi, I'm Joey Only here again from Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers. Today I'm having a little drive down the Bowron Lake Road and just checking out some of the avalanche conditions. I know last week Highway's avalanche team was here dropping off a bunch of supplies but haven't triggered any avalanches yet. Up this first chute you can see there's not a whole lot of snow, but when you look at the top, I don't know how much you can see with the camera. Right now the clouds are just whipping off this little cornice up there. So there is quite a heavy load of snow at that little top hole up there, which can take a jump down here. So yeah, we'll go have a look at the different chutes and see what we see. This is the second chute on the Bowron Lake Road, and as you can see too, it hasn't avalanched either. Looks like a bit of a snow load up top. And I guess one thing I do want to say about avalanches, first of all, we were talking today in the group about survival situations and things like that. And just about, being aware in the bush of everything that's going on. A good example is avalanches kill 10 or 15 people in British Columbia every year. That's very, very normal. Say in 2013, 70 people drowned in that summer. Vehicle accidents in the bush, very dangerous. Often 1 to 2 people get killed by lightning every year in British Columbia. Trees falling on people usually kills 3 to 5 people at least, from what I've seen. There was some stat I've seen in the last 25 years. There'd been something like 2,000, or I forget the number now. I'm not going to try to quote it. It was several thousand people have froze to death, right? So you come out to the mountains and you're worried about the bears. You're worried about the bears who maybe every 3 years kill 1 person in Canada, and you're not paying attention to everything. And that's what you have to know about being a real mountain person, is pay attention to every little detail, right? So, I mean, if I wanted to go up there and dig into the snow and have a look at the snowpack, look at the wind, how it's behaving today, every little detail tells me something, and you just can't walk like a city person with your head down staring at the ground. You have to have your head up on a swivel, and that's how you survive out here. You have to understand that when you leave the house, I could die today. That's just a reality of the forest. So this is the final avalanche chute here in the Bowron Lake Road. And what's interesting about this one, this is the water hole where a lot of us in wells get our water. Just a couple hundred feet up here, this water just comes out of the mountain all year round, about the same clarity of water, same flow. It never really changes. It's a good spot to have water. Last year though, avalanche crews came and triggered an avalanche because the snow load was so high up there. And the avalanche was so big, as you can see, it created a new avalanche chute here and tore all these trees out, buried this, and no one was able to drink water here for quite some time. So, often you're safer in the trees, but that's not a guarantee that you'll be safe whatsoever. And I just gotta say, there's nothing like clear mountain water as I slip around the ice. That's the best water on earth, man. Wells, British Columbia. And behind me here is Bowron Provincial Park. That's the Cariboo Mountains. 2012, I got to spend an entire summer running the jet boats, working for parks, staying in the ranger cabins. It was quite lovely. So just back this way a little ways is what you would call Spectacle Lake behind me. And then a little farther this way is where the Cariboo River joins up. You can go up around Laneezy. You can go up to the other side of the mountains where Isaac Lake is. Back and around a whole nice street. So one of the things I love about working at wells is any given time I can just come out here and see these beautiful mountains as they are. Be in them, live in them. Home. Oh, I should add that our forecast this week is fairly lovely. We had a couple centimeters of snow come through here today, and you can see some of that system that passed through wells is still coalesced in the mountains over there. It hasn't quite let go yet, but we've largely got some high pressure today. It's pretty cool. Over in the cold front passed through and is right now causing really strong winds in Dawson Creek and all along the other side of the Rockies, basically the east flank of the Rockies. So strong winds, 70, 90 kilometers an hour. That should start dying down tonight, but I think a lot of places will still have gusty conditions through the night. So if you live in those places, hopefully you don't lose power. But other than that, I mean, for BC right now, I'm not really willing to guess too much in the long-range forecast anymore. Things just keep changing and changing and changing, and I don't think we're going to get that extreme cold weather like I've been saying. And even now, our cold snap, they were saying, it's been dialed back some. into what I call seasonal values. So I don't think we're going to get that cold, real cold weather this January. Minus 15, that's not cold weather. That's seasonal. So, you know, and then the forecasts keep changing. Yesterday they were predicting snow over the 14-day forecast a lot for wells. Now they're predicting sunshine a lot. All I can say is this is going to be a pretty nice week. And maybe by the weekend we'll have a better idea of where things are going. I'm Joey Only, Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers. Thanks for watching. I keep thinking I'm done for today and then have new things I want to say. But we were talking about survival and being ready and prepared on the group today as a mental thing too, not just as a what things do I have on me, what items of gear do I have, but like also that mental ability to sort of say to yourself, like, I'm in a dangerous place, I have to be aware. And one thing I noticed a lot with my friends who from the city over the years is they're very trained to walk with their hands in their pockets and their heads down. One time I was walking with my friend Nathan back in university, and a big buck deer jumped out right in front of us and then went into the brambles again. I said, "You see that?" And he looked up and said, "I heard something." And I said, "Man, lift your chin up." A good example of this too is when I first bought the lodge here. I probably was about 2 months up here, no phone, no internet, working on the place, trying to get ready. Went down to Vancouver, drive all the way down there, and I stop at Hastings and Sunrise right when I come off the highway. The first human being I see in Vancouver, what does he do? He's walking with his cell phone and he walked right into a friggin' lamppost. Just oof, right, you know, and I turned to my wife at the time and said, that's a loss of survival skills right there. You're walking into a solid fucking object. So how is it that you think that you're gonna be okay walking around the mountains where there's so many dangers when, I mean, let's be fair, the city street is just as dangerous as it is here. It's just different kinds of dangers, and you have to be, you're used to those kinds of dangers, so you pay attention to them. Whereas to me, I'm really on edge in the city because there's so much happening. I'm not comfortable there. It's too much stimulus. You know, I know of another friend who, one of her friends from high school, he went to cross the street and got ran over by a dump truck. And it's like you just spend your whole life, buddy, trying to survive just to step in front of a dump truck when all it would have taken is just to stop for a second, look, move. I'd be walking down Commercial Drive and people would come out of the stores and walk right into me, just, you know, and not even checking if is anyone out here before they just turn and start walking down the street. And what I figured to do eventually is I just put my shoulder down, I'd walk right through them. Eventually it's like, you know what? I'm tired of getting bumped into you by you people. Oh, sorry. Well, open your damn eyes, you know, and that's the first thing I really want to get into people's heads when it comes to survival is like, A, open your eyes, but B, mental health in a survival situation is everything, right? You have to have that attitude of fight, think. It has to be there for you, and if it's not, that's where you're going to find a lot of trouble. A lot of people who die in survival situations, they'll be like, you know, when I was in Air Cadet Survival Instructor course, this was just after a Hercules had crashed up in Alert in North Pole, basically, in 1993, and a bunch of people died, even though there was the fuselage was there. They were huddled in the fuselage of the plane, but the wings are broken off and not far away, and inside them were rubber rafts they could have sheltered in. The captain of the aircraft, the C-130 Hercules, gave his coat away to someone and froze to death. And what we had, and this is a military course, so they're telling us, you know, what did these people do? They panicked, they didn't work together, they didn't make a plan, they didn't think things through, and no one took charge of the situation. The person who should have was the captain. He gave his coat away and died. And these are the kinds of things that before you know, it doesn't matter what kind of gear you have. You know, if you turn and walk in front of a dump truck, it doesn't matter if you're wearing a hard hat and a safety vest if you walk in front of a dump truck, right? And that's just the kinds of things I'm trying to get into people's minds. I'm not here to shame people, but if you're not ready to be out here playing, you don't belong, and that's just the truth of it. And one thing I have noticed about our group is I've never heard of anyone who's on Interior Weather and Wilderness Watchers needing rescue. In fact, it's often people from our group who are doing the rescues. So that's a bonus to us, and I always say that if no one's getting hurt or killed in our group, then we're actually successful because there's nothing happening. That's how we know how successful we are. We'll see you tomorrow. Oh yeah, by the way, Punky got stuck to a male dog today, so I'm expecting puppies. If you want a really sweet puppy, stay tuned.